One time, I need it one time. I need it one time.
Yo, test it then. It's yours truly, Maddness KMA. And I say yours truly because there is one and one only. Spell it correct, don't get it twisted. The MADDNESSKMA. Gotta have the double D's because why? I'm more than a handful. Anyway, right here on Pirate Chronicles series channel, and I wanted to take us back to the originality of the foundation levels of how the channel started. For the new subscribers, thank you so much for helping me to get to 1,000. We haven't reached there yet. I'm just on the outside. Road to 1,000. Please do subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you do not like to leave comments, just drop an emoji, some fire emojis, or if it makes you laugh or it makes you, whatever emotion you have from the videos that I create within the content. At the end of the day, it's all content in it. So I'm taking it back with a story time because in last week's episode or the week before that, I did the Hidden Dubs series episode on the warehouse dubs that we created as the partnership, as the collaboration with my homeboy and family tree, Lenny D Ice. I produced certain tunes for our outfit at the time. It was the culture that we was living, the same as back in the garage days from the very beginning. It was the culture that we lived, the styles that we was emulating through our skill set of DJing. It really reflects, like I've said on many occasions, as you would know, it reflects on how you perform to that crowd, that specific crowd. And what I'm talking about in today's story time was related to those warehouse dubs, because that era and the only images that have been seen in the public eye from those illegal warehouse raves was from my camera person, which was all connected to my outfit. And the way we did it was same thing. We wanted to document everything. So my wife was great as a photographer. And so I said, bring her out with me every time we're doing these events. I want it documented. If it's not filmed, then I want it documented in picture format, in image format, because an image can tell 100 stories within that picture and what you take from it, capturing the moments, capturing the energy from different angles, different perspectives from the eye of the camera and that person behind the camera. And what we did was every event that we did amongst that warehouse raves was documented, and I've got all the pictures from all the years that we did it. It's all there on my hard drives, right? So let's go back. We're talking about the dubs that I created for the warehouse events. It will never compete to the original foundation of warehouse raving, which was in the 80s, from the original ravers, the original rave promotions that was putting on events that couldn't get into clubs at the time, or, it all started before the clubland anyway. So they were putting on events like festivals, so to speak, which was open air, getting hold of a piece of land, which was held thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people, ravers were going out to these events. And then it moved into the warehouses with the acid house era and so forth. So fast forwarding through time, and I found the pictures which related to those dubs that I played in that Hidden Dub series, warehouse dubs. And it just sent me back because, again, it told me a whole load of stories within those images. So I think it was good to talk about a story time from back then. So if I go back to I think it was about 2011, and I can't remember how I actually got involved or got us involved. And I don't want to mention names because obviously it was illegal warehouse raves. I'm talking a real original warehouse events, disused buildings, them man. They did what they had to do to get in the venue, and I wasn't a part of that all the time, but I would just get the phone call and the link, and big up the members that were there and part of that movement from back in those days. And you know exactly who you are, but I don't want to mention names to bait man up, and you know how it goes, right? So say I got the phone call, right? And they said there was a big event that's going to be, they know I'm North and East London based. And they said, there's a big event that's taking off and they're preparing for it in North London. Now, it was right at the back of Meridian where Boy Better Know are based foundation from, and in between White Hart Lane. So I was like, okay, cool, that's the old ends. When we was kids, back in those days, Meridian, Selby, all those kind of areas there in North London, we used to, that was our hunting ground. We used to just hang around there because we had mans from different sections over there. So we used to, you know, get on our bikes and link up there, and sometimes go into the gym in Selby Centre and, you know, whatever, right? So I knew the area, of course, it's my hometown. So I said, all right, cool, I'm up for that. I got the phone call and said, we're doing this event and it's an illegal warehouse event. I said, oh man, that's like the old school days. Okay, cool, let me see what they're going on with. Yeah, man, I'll accept the booking. But then when I delved more into it, the ethos of it, and said, okay, warehouse events, how big is this place? It's the big wood flooring place. And I went, wait, that big ass building that's on the corner of like Pretoria Road, and that's massive. How many sound systems you got in there? Well, we've got the main stage, they said, which was one section of the venue, which was drum and bass, basically, jungle drum and bass. And then I said, okay, cool. You know, so I got a sound system, right? Me and my brother and my dad, we got a sound system, and I wouldn't mind hosting my own stage, my own section. They said, okay, cool, we're gonna try and break it down to make out that everyone has their own corner sort of thing. So I said, yeah, hey, listen, that sounds like something to do with sound system culture. I want to get involved in this, not just DJing. I want to play, you know, the sound system there. And let me tell you something, when they said, all right, come and link up there, with mans them are in there, they're clearing out the premises so everyone's got a place to set up their sound system. And this place is huge inside. You wouldn't think it, even though, because you see the building structure, you thought, okay, it could be different buildings within a building. It weren't. It was the whole entire flooring factory. And when we got there to scope the place out and do a recce, I was amazed. I said, I couldn't believe that this place is so huge. It can hold thousands in this venue. So I went down there with some of the boys and we looked around and we said, hey, this in hometown, this is going to be a mad thing, right? And the sound system's down the road in the lockup, so all we have to do is not too far to travel and, you know, sort out how we're going to get our transportation and what we're going to do and how we're going to set up. So we walked around this place and said, oh man, this is something else, man. What's the name of the event? They said, oh, we're going to call this one Zombie Stomp.
Sweet, sweet love.
Now, Zombie Stomp, it was around Halloween, right? So you can get the idea of what it was all about. So, okay, cool, a Halloween event called Zombie Stomp. All right, no worries, cool. When we went in there, and like I said, I chose a certain section and I said, I want this place here. It's sort of close to the corner. You know, we could do like a little food thing and, you know, set up a barbecue and all that, bun some jerk chicken and all them things there and, you know, make it an event and, you know, let's see how we get on with this. So I said, I'll bring the garage side of it, obviously, and I'll book some of the boys from the resurrection of Freak FM. We resurrected Freak around that time. And I said, I'm going to bring some of the boys on and, you know, we'll promote it on the station, which was online by then, Freak FM Online, Freak FM Live. So then when we got it all set up and everything was ready and it was the case of, right, tonight's the night, so we spent the day hauling in the speakers, setting up their sounds, and then we found out there's more other sound systems coming in here. So it's going to be a clash of sounds because it's such a big place, and the ceiling was so high, it was like, wow. Yeah, but knowing sound engineering, they're going to clash. Everyone's going to clash. You won't be able to hear your sound system. So you better make sure you got the powerhouse. So we brought out all of the sound system with, normally if we did events like weddings or something like that, then we'll take a certain mid-range set, which was only the 15-inch bass scoops and then the middle range and then the top ends, right? So we set up and then other sound systems are coming in, they're setting up their section, could be house, could be techno, you know, that sort of a thing. we know, so we're controlling the garage section, right? So I got all my crews and selected DJs and MCs that's going to be playing on this night. But it got more intense as we went along with everyone setting up. You're thinking, how is this going to work? No one's separated. We're not in separate rooms. We're all under one roof, but they segregated. I can't remember how they did it. Segregated a certain part of it, which was the main stage, which was how people got in through the main entrance, security, medics on standby, all of that. It was all catered for, right? And we just didn't realize how big this event would be, because getting involved into an underground warehouse event and a secret warehouse events, it's like, how's people going to know? Yeah, it's the old format from the 80s, word of mouth, phone line, you call this number, the answering machine will tell you where to go, or somebody's on that line will be directing people, and word of mouth. So I said, well, you know, I think it was on Facebook, and they put the number out. Within an hour, there was a queue down the road. There was hundreds and hundreds of people walking in, coming in. Music starts to kick off on the main stage. We set up and everyone done their sound check, so we knew there's going to be a clash of sounds from people who's behind that that reservation that was from the main, because they were loud as it was with drum and bass. So we was on our side, everyone's testing out their sounds and that sort of thing. So we flick the switch, get the power running, get the sound playing, you know, warm up the sound systems. Within an hour, 2 hours go by, the place was ram jam, and we was so excited because it was like, rah, zombie stomp, you know, this is a takeover of North London. How you mean? Where is all these people coming from that they just got the link from the phone line? This is just like the old school days. And it was so ram in that venue, and it was calm. Everyone was having an amazing time. We had the barbecue going, jerk chicken and burgers and all that kitting on our section. And it weren't a clash of sounds because it was so big in there. People could have their own section, and yet you're pumping out your music. And because our sound system was very powerful, you know, we held our corner, and, you know, everyone will rave there. If they was finishing with the garage, or they'll go over to the trance section, they'll go over to the techno section, they'll go to the house section, they'll go to the main stage. And it was headlining acts as well, you know, with Brucky and Det and then Mandy Oliver on the other side, if I remember correctly. And then, you know, I had the Freak lot there. And what an amazing time for raving. And from there it stemmed off to say, okay, cool, them man, they can hold their own set, right? Hold their own section. So I said, yeah, holler at man when you're ready for the next venue and stuff like this. So then it was coming up to Christmas, and then they said, we're gonna use the Stomp name, but call it Santa Stomp. And this was at a big venue in, what was the place called? Drop the comments down below if you remember Santa Stomp, which didn't actually go ahead because there was a raid. Yeah. Now this venue now, we had to go up these steps, and it was about 4 or 5 flights of steps to get up. No lift, man's was just bare manpower. The amp racks that we had as well was analog, so they were so heavy, but we had to do that. But me and my brother was always used to doing these things. We used to host sports days and these sort of things in stadiums, so we had to carry these amp racks up the stadiums and do it, me and him one together doing our thing. Shout out to Mr. Energy, Tony T3, and what we did with this one, we had to recruit mans, because when we done a recce of the place, it was like, oh man, they were already in there clearing up, doing what they do, a disused building, and we said, okay, cool, 5 flights, damn, we're gonna need some strength and some bodies for this to carry the Civicas up there. So the number was released on social media, and within an hour, again, no lie, the place was ram packed again, right? People was in there, security's there on standby, keeping everything tight. Big up all the security team. I got some pictures of you guys as well to say I remember, and I knew what I wanted. I said to Mrs. Maddness, I want you to take pictures of security. I want you to take pictures of this, take pictures of that, so then I know it would tell that story. story in years to come. And as the venue was filling up, we started warming up our sound and, you know, playing music, drum and bass in the main, of course. And of course, we're in the only garage set in the in a separate room, and it was filled up nice, but it packed out in an hour. Again, it never took that long for people to pack out the venue. But then what was it? Something kicked off in our room, right? And it was nothing to do with us as the sound system or the DJs performing. It was to do with somebody in the crowd had an issue with somebody else, and then it got a bit messy, right? It got a bit messy, and then a couple of my DJs was trying to say to the man that was thinking, hold it down, man, you don't need to be like this because you lot have got issues with, can't remember what it was, but not to say that it wasn't relevant, but it was, because it put a halt to the whole event after we went up these 5 flights of steps to get up there to set up music and just have a good time in this disused building. And the feds were called, basically, and then they, you know, and let me just say, every event that will happen with the warehouse events, the feds would turn up, police would turn up. But you know how it goes. If there's hundreds of people in there, they ain't troubling you. They would just make sure everything's running safe and say, keep it clean. When you're finished, get out the venue and go about your business, right? So it was like that. But then there was more behind the scenes on the back end of how the man would have to get their way into the venue, establish themselves in the venue, squatters' rights, those sort of things. You know, that's beyond me. I wasn't involved in none of that. So, and that's why I said I won't mention names of who exactly was the main people that was involved in that side of things. They did their thing, right? So they knew the setup and what it took to do these events, and, you know, what the police would ask for and whatever it was. And so then they had that covered. So police would always be on standby. You know, the big riot vans, couple of them set up on the end of the road or outside the industrial estate where the venue was. And then it kicked off with this one in Stomp. Where was that venue? Then it kicked off in our section of the venue, and the man, some big dude, he was kicking off with certain people, our DJs. Couple of them tried to say, look, hold it down, man, we're here to have a good time, come out the venue if that's what it is. Then they tried to start on a couple of our mans, and then we weren't having it, so then security come in, rushed them out. That was that. By this time now, there's no music playing, right? Because remember, like I said, the venue was sardine packed already, right? Every room was packed. And then they said they're going to raid the place, and we got to get out and whatever it is, or the threat of being raided. But then what some of them started to do, which was wrong, started to throw bricks, bottles, all that kind of things at the feds, and we're thinking, nah, man, what are these youths doing? Because we're here to 5 flights of steps, you know what I'm saying? And it was crazy. And then basically, I remember it, police rushed in the place because I think somebody did get hurt and injured. Ambulances were on side anyway, so then someone got really injured, and then basically they got and rushed in the place and cleared everybody out. Most people ran. Most people think, but we ain't running nowhere, we got the sound system. So it's like, oh man, we got to get the sound system back downstairs into the truck, and we got to leave like that. But they were cool with us. I think the inspector came over and he said to me, you know what's going on outside, it's almost like a riot outside and this sort of stuff, so we're going to give you an opportunity to take your sound system equipment out of here before we start making moves, you know, to arrest people and this sort of stuff. So they were cool. So I said, all right, nice one, give me a chance. I rallied around every man that was in our room and said, every DJ, every something, carry something downstairs. There was a wall of feds standing up on the outside on the road. It made the news, this event as well, because they were doing stupidness, the youth them. It weren't the elders, it was the youngsters throwing bricks and all kind of stuff, mashing up the building and dashing it at the feds with their riot shields and all this kind of thing. And we was like, what are we doing here, man? We need to get out. We got some of the sound system down, and the sergeant came up to me and said, are you controlling that room? I said, well, yeah, it's our equipment. I just said it was our equipment. And he said, okay, cool. You got 5 minutes to get the rest of it out. Otherwise, we're going to seize all the rest of it. It was like, what? My dad's teens. No, sir. Every man, even some of the ravers. Can I help? Yes, you can. Carry some of this, take up two leads and draw this one, take them downstairs and just put them all in the truck. Man, them already down there, loading the truck and this sort of thing. So that went on for us. We done it quick, fast. You know, obviously when you're going somewhere, it takes ages. When you're leaving, you can exit quite quick and get to your destination. And we got out of it real quick. And then the police didn't want to let certain trucks go. I said, the inspector, I called man, the inspector said that we could get our equipment out and move and go about business. They were just hiring our equipment. I don't know, you know, what else is it to go along with it? It's nothing to do with us. The rest of it that's going on, certainly nothing to do with us. And that event didn't go ahead, man. It was like about an hour or two maybe of music getting played. I didn't get to play none of that. You know what I mean? It was just the sound system getting a bit of a run that night. So that was another one. And then going forward, they kept calling us and said, right, we've got another one. They did it all the time. They was doing all these raves and didn't accept all of them. But then some of them said, this won't be suitable for you. We need garage. Okay, cool. We need house and garage. All right, no worries. Let me come and do a recce of the place first, investigate the place. We could set up over here. As you can see in some of these pictures as well, it was like a college unit or something like that. I can't remember. An event was called, it was a Valentine's event. Yeah, I remember that it was a Valentine's event. And that took a whole day of setting up because the place was kind of holding the rubbish in there and office tables and everything that we had to move around the place to make space for our sound system. And me and Lenny was the headliners on that as Mad Ice. And then we recruited other members. We had Mystic Matt was there. And some of the rest of the Freakmans, Dollars, big up Dollars, and you can see in some of the pictures here. But again, I just thought, when looking at these pictures, I thought it tells so much of the story and the timeline. So this was about between 2011 to 2014. But I wanted to share that with you about some of the levels that we went through as an outfit, as music DJs, producers, hosts, promoters, sound system owner. You know what I mean? There was a lot that went along with the ground levels of entertainment value for the ravers, and it got us a lot of fan base. You know, people will still say today, oh, I remember you from that warehouse event, and do you remember that one over there and the other one? And there was one more that I'll leave you with. And these guys were relentless with how they set up, found locations, and they said to us, we're going to do an open air event. I said, yeah, open air? That sounds mad. And I can't remember again the location, but it was set up outside in a forest. And when we went there to check it out, I believe, you know, there was some people that was already on the land, and they was the one that gave authorization to be there. And that was another one that went down in history. And I've got some original footage that if I can find it, I'll put in the edit so you can have a look. But you can't really see. If I remember right, it was on my Facebook page, Maddness KMA, Maddness KMA. That's my like and fan page. I did have it originally on there, but I remember we didn't really concentrate on camera footage, as in video footage, and so I was using my phone, and it was all dark and you couldn't really see anything that much. But I remember it was, again, the same thing. When the time the phone line gets released, it was ram jam, and I'm thinking, all of us was thinking, how do people even know how to get to this location? Because it was like in some remote piece of land, marshland sort of thing, and how are they going to know where to get? There's no trains nearby, not everyone drives, but they found their way, and it's the same pattern. You see hundreds of people walking up the road to get to this forest event. And that was another special one, man, because the ravers were nice. There weren't no trouble at all. And it was just the drum and bass section, and our section, of course, which was the house and garage section. And we bust down the place. It was so good, man. The vibes and energy that I will never, ever forget. So in looking at some of those pictures, I just wanted to share that storyline with you from the days of the warehouse underground events leading back from the Hidden Dubs, which will be back next week. Shout out to all those that's catching on with the Garage Report midweek shows. I'm your host, Maddness KMA, and you know what? I'm out.